My beloved child, this night was not random. This hour was not ordinary. There is a weight in the atmosphere right now that only chosen souls can feel. Heaven has been leaning toward you, watching to see if you will recognize this moment before it passes. I need you to listen carefully, because what is unfolding tonight will not repeat in the same way again. I, Archangel Michael, stand as a witness to what God has decreed over your life in this very night. Long before the sun set, your name was already spoken in the courts of heaven. While others drifted into distraction, heaven marked this night as a turning point for you. A breakthrough has been prepared, but it requires your awareness, your alignment, and your courage to receive it. There are nights that feel quiet on the surface, yet they carry divine assignments beneath them. This is one of those nights. God is saying, do not sleep spiritually. Do not delay. Do not assume tomorrow will carry what tonight was designed to release. Something has been held back, not because you were unworthy, but because the timing had to be precise. And now, the timing has arrived. Archangel Michael pleads with you because there is urgency, not fear. Urgency is heaven's mercy speaking loudly. You have been praying for change, asking for clarity, crying out for movement. But what you did not see was the resistance that stood at the threshold of your breakthrough. That resistance has been confronted. That battle has been addressed. And now, heaven is waiting on you. This night was chosen because your spirit is finally strong enough to carry what is coming. God did not delay to punish you. He delayed to protect you. If this breakthrough had arrived earlier, it would have crushed your confidence or confused your purpose. But now you are ready. Your discernment is sharper. Your faith is steadier. Your heart has been refined by waiting. Listen closely. There is a difference between an open door and a moving door. An open door waits. A moving door requires immediate action. Heaven is not standing still tonight. Angels are in motion. Assignments are shifting. Timelines are adjusting. And Archangel Michael is warning you. Do not hesitate when God nudges you to move. Some of you have felt restless all evening. Others felt an unexplained heaviness lift just moments ago. That is not coincidence. That is alignment. The spiritual atmosphere around you is changing because God has decided that enough is enough. Enough delay. Enough cycles. Enough almost. Enough tears in silence. God says this night was chosen for your breakthrough because this is the night your faith and heaven's timing finally met at the same point. The prayers you whispered when no one believed you were heard. The tears you wiped away when you felt forgotten were counted. Nothing was wasted. Nothing was ignored. But hear this carefully, beloved. Breakthroughs are not always loud. Sometimes they begin with a decision. Sometimes they arrive as an instruction. Sometimes they require you to release what you have been clinging to for comfort. Archangel Michael pleads with you because what God is about to do cannot be carried with old mindsets, old fears, or old excuses. There are people who were meant to walk with you only up to this point. If you try to drag them into what God is releasing tonight, you will feel resistance. That resistance is not from heaven. It is a signal to let go. This night demands obedience more than understanding. God is saying, open this before heaven moves on without you. Not because he wants to abandon you, but because heaven honors free will. If you ignore the prompting, heaven will not force your hand. But if you say yes, even trembling, heaven will respond immediately. Archangel Michael stands ready to defend what God is releasing. The battle is not ahead of you. It is behind you. What remains is your response. Will you trust God enough to step forward without seeing the full picture? Will you choose faith over familiarity? Something is shifting even as you hear these words. Your spirit recognizes truth before your mind catches up. The tightening in your chest is not fear, it is confirmation. This message found you because you were meant to hear it before this night passes. Do not minimize this moment. Do not scroll away internally. Do not tell yourself you will respond later. Later is not promised. This night was chosen. This hour was marked. This message is your confirmation. Heaven is watching. Angels are moving. And God is waiting for your yes. My precious one, as this night continues to unfold, I need you to understand why heaven is pressing so close to you right now. This is not just about a blessing arriving. This is about alignment, being restored. God is not only changing your situation, He is recalibrating your position in the Spirit. What is coming requires you to stand differently, think differently, and speak differently than you have before. Archangel Michael is near because this is a moment of spiritual transition. When transitions happen, the enemy always tries to create confusion, delay, or distraction. That is why God is drawing your attention so sharply in this hour. You are not being rushed. You are being awakened. There is a difference. Awakening brings clarity. Rushing brings fear. And fear has no authority in what God is doing tonight. You may have noticed that certain thoughts have been resurfacing lately. Old doubts, old memories, old questions. This is not a setback. This is exposure. God is allowing hidden fears to surface so they can no longer control you silently. Archangel Michael does not fight shadows. He fights revealed opposition. And what has been revealed no longer has power over you. This night is chosen because God is breaking a pattern that has repeated itself in your life. You have been faithful, but faithfulness alone was not the key. Timing was. Heaven waited until your obedience matured into discernment. Now, you are no longer reacting emotionally. You are responding spiritually. That is why this breakthrough will last. There are instructions being released alongside this breakthrough. Pay attention to what God has been nudging you to do repeatedly. It may feel simple, even insignificant, but obedience unlocks momentum. Delayed obedience delays movement. Archangel Michael is urging you to act when clarity comes, not when comfort returns. Some of you are standing at the edge of a decision that will redefine your next season. You have been asking God for a sign, and this message is part of that answer. The reason it feels intense is because intensity breaks hesitation. Heaven is not pressuring you, heaven is positioning you. Now hear this clearly. What God is doing in your life is not only for you. There are others connected to your obedience who will receive breakthrough because you chose to listen tonight. That is why it matters that this message reaches beyond just your ears. When God speaks, He often multiplies His voice through willing vessels. If this message is stirring something in your spirit, do not keep it to yourself. Let others encounter what you are encountering. Like this message as an act of agreement. Share it with someone who had been waiting for confirmation. Leave a comment declaring that you are ready for what God is releasing. When you do this, you are not supporting a video, you are participating in a divine echo. This channel exists to deliver timely words to those who are on the edge of transformation. If you feel seen, understood, or strengthened here, stay connected. Subscribe and walk this journey with us. There are messages ahead that will meet you exactly where you are going, not just where you have been. If you desire deeper spiritual nourishment and consistent prophetic insight, joining the membership allows you to remain under this flow without interruption. Archangel Michael is not just speaking to you, he is rallying you to stand firm, to stay aware, and to remain spiritually engaged. What God begins tonight will unfold in stages, and staying connected keeps your discernment sharp as each layer reveals itself. Do not underestimate the power of agreement. When you like, share, comment, and support this work, you are declaring alignment with heaven's movement. God honors participation. He honors partnership. He honors those who choose to show up instead of standing at a distance. As this night deepens, the atmosphere around you continues to shift. You may feel a strange calm replacing anxiety, or a sudden clarity replacing confusion. That is the presence of God settling things that once felt unstable. Archangel Michael stands guard over what is being established, ensuring that what God plans cannot be uprooted by fear or doubt. There is more that must be revealed, and it will answer questions you have been carrying silently for a long time. What comes next will make sense of delays, clarify relationships, and expose why this breakthrough could not happen any earlier. Hold on, because what is about to unfold will connect the dots in a way you did not expect. This night is still moving. Heaven is still active. And what you are about to hear next carries the key that unlocks the deeper meaning behind this chosen moment. Beloved soul, as this sacred night reaches deeper into its assignment, heaven is unveiling what was hidden behind the waiting. God wants you to understand that delays were not denials, and silence was not absence. Archangel Michael has been standing watch over a process that required precision. Some breakthroughs explode suddenly, but others descend quietly, settling into your life so firmly that nothing can shake them afterward. This is that kind of breakthrough. You have been prepared in ways you did not recognize at the time. Every unanswered prayer strengthened your discernment. Every disappointment refined your hearing. Every closed door trained your spirit to recognize the sound of the right one. God did not waste your endurance. He invested it. And now, the return is arriving. Archangel Michael reveals that the reason this night was chosen is because the opposition against your progress has finally lost its legal ground. What once delayed you no longer has permission. You outgrew the cycles that tried to contain you. You outgrew the voices that question your calling. You outgrew the fear that made you hesitate. Growth always provokes release, and release always follows readiness. There is something powerful happening in the unseen realm right now. Assignments that were meant to expire have expired. Contracts you never signed consciously, but carried emotionally, have been voided. God is removing burdens you normalized but were never meant to carry. That is why you may feel lighter even without visible change yet. Spiritual shifts always precede physical evidence. Hear this carefully. Your breakthrough is not only about what you gain, but about what you leave behind. God is severing unhealthy attachments, misplaced loyalties, and false responsibilities. Some of what you thought was love was actually obligation. Some of what you called patience was actually fear of letting go. Tonight, heaven is untangling those knots. Archangel Michael pleads with you to guard your thoughts in the coming hours. Do not allow old narratives to re-enter your mind. The enemy often attempts a final whisper when he knows access has been revoked. If doubt tries to rise, answer it with truth. If fear tries to speak, silence it with faith. You are not who you were when this struggle began. God says this breakthrough will restore your voice. You have been quiet for too long, shrinking your truth to keep peace. That season is ending. Your voice carries authority now, not because you became louder, but because you became aligned. When you speak from alignment, heaven backs your words. There are divine connections forming around you. Some will recognize your growth immediately. Others will resist it. Do not chase validation. Alignment never needs applause. God will surround you with those who honor your transformation without trying to control it. This night also marks the beginning of acceleration. One step months will take weed. One step wigs will take dead. Not because you rushed, but because resistance hath been removed. Archangel Michael assures you that heaven has cleared the path ahead. Walk it with humility and confidence. You are stepping into a season where obedience will feel natural, not forced. Peace will become your confirmation. If something disrupts that peace, it is not meant to stay. God is training you to trust the quiet assurance more than emotional highs or lows. Before this message moves forward, heaven is releasing a marker over this moment. Type "I receive the breakthrough" in the comments if this word resonates with your spirit. Blessing code 444 has just been activated over your life. And now, hear this with an open heart. As this revelation settles into your spirit, I feel led to speak directly to those whose hearts are burning to see God's word reach further. I am speaking to you, the one who feels this message is not just for personal comfort but for kingdom purpose. When you sow into this work through super thanks, membership, or the PayPal link in the description, you are not funding a channel. You are lighting lamps for souls who are still in the dark. The Lord is saying, as you release into my house, I will release rivers where you have known dryness. This is seed time meeting harvest hour. Do not delay what heaven is prompting now. I bless every giver with open heavens, multiplied provision, and divine remembrance. Step forward and act. Partner with this mission now, and let your obedience speak louder than words. The night is still unfolding. Heaven is not finished speaking. What comes next will reveal how this breakthrough will manifest in ways you did not anticipate. Chosen one, as this night moves forward, God is drawing your attention to something very specific that has been quietly shaping your journey. There has been an invisible hand guiding you away from paths that looked right but were not aligned. At times, you felt confused by sudden changes, unexpected endings, or redirections that made no sense in the moment. But Archangel Michael now reveals that those detours were divine protection, not punishment. This breakthrough is different because it is not built on impulse or emotion. It is built on wisdom gained through endurance. God allowed you to experience uncertainty so you would learn how to trust His voice above all others. That is why you are more sensitive now. That is why your spirit reacts faster when something is off. You are no longer easily deceived by appearances, because discernment hath been sharpened within you. There were moments when you questioned whether you were still moving forward or simply standing still. Heaven saw progress even when you saw stagnation. Growth does not always announce itself. Sometimes it happens quietly, deep within the soul, where only God can see it forming. Archangel Michael has been guarding that hidden growth, ensuring it was not exposed too early. God is now addressing a misunderstanding that has lingered in your heart. You believed that your struggle meant you were behind. In truth, it meant you were being refined. Others reached certain milestones faster, but they did not carry the same assignment. Your path required depth, not speed. Tonight, heaven corrects that narrative and restores your confidence. This is why comparison had to be stripped away. As long as you measured your journey against others, you could not fully receive what was uniquely designed for you. God says this breakthrough will not look like what you expected, but it will feel unmistakably right. Peace will confirm it before results appear. Archangel Michael urges you to remain attentive in the coming days. God will speak through subtle confirmations, repeated themes, and unexpected conversations. Do not dismiss what feels small. Often, the smallest instructions unlock the largest doors. Obedience is the language heaven responds to most quickly. There is also a healing taking place within you that you may not have asked for directly. Old disappointments that shaped your expectations are being gently uprooted. You no longer have to brace yourself for loss. God is teaching your heart how to expect goodness again. That shift alone will change how you approach everything that follows. This night marks a separation between who you were and who you are becoming. You will notice that certain environments no longer fit. Certain conversations will feel draining instead of familiar. This is not arrogance or rejection. It is alignment. Your spirit is recalibrating to match the frequency of what God is releasing. Archangel Michael stands as a witness to the authority being restored to you. Authority that was diminished by self-doubt. Authority that was weakened by overthinking. Authority that was silenced by fear of being misunderstood. God is placing weight behind your decisions again. When you move forward now, heaven moves with you. Do not rush to explain this change to anyone. Let the fruit speak. Transformation does not need justification. Those who are meant to walk with you will recognize the shift without words. Those who cannot will drift naturally. Trust God with both outcomes. You are also being prepared for increase not only materially, but spiritually and relationally. Increase requires stewardship. That is why God has been teaching you patience, discipline, and boundaries. What is coming will stay because you are now able to sustain it. This night continues to work on your behalf even as you listen. Rest in that truth. You do not need to force anything. Heaven is not struggling to bless you. It is responding to your readiness. Archangel Michael assures you that what has begun cannot be reversed. There is still more to be revealed. The next unfolding will clarify how this breakthrough connects to your purpose and why your obedience in this season matters more than ever. Stay open. Stay aware. The story heaven is writing over your life is only beginning to show its depth. My dear one, as the night stretches on, God is inviting you into a deeper understanding of why this breakthrough required such careful preparation. What is coming is not fragile. It is not temporary. It is not something that will collapse under pressure. Heaven has been building a foundation beneath you while you thought you were simply surviving. Archangel Michael reveals that strength was being layered into your spirit long before you saw any outward reward. You have walked through moments where you felt emotionally exhausted, spiritually stretched, and mentally drained. Yet somehow, you kept moving. That endurance was not accidental. God was training your inner stability so that when the breakthrough arrived, it would not overwhelm you or distract you from your purpose. Many people receive blessings that become burdens because they were not prepared internally. This will not be your story. There's a maturity now in how you respond to challenges. You no longer panic the way you once did. You pause. You pray. You observe. That shift alone signals readiness. Archangel Michael has been guarding your growth, ensuring that you did not advance faster than your character could sustain. Heaven values longevity over spectacle. God wants you to know that this breakthrough carries restoration, not just reward. There are areas of your life where you accepted limitation as normal. You adjusted your expectations to avoid disappointment. Tonight, God is gently lifting those limits. He is reminding you of the promises you buried to protect your heart. Those promises were not forgotten in heaven. This night was chosen because your heart can now receive without fear. You are no longer desperate for validation. You are no longer chasing approval. You are anchored. And anchored people can be trusted with increase. Archangel Michael affirms that stability attracts divine acceleration. There is also a recalibration happening in how you see yourself. You have underestimated the impact of your obedience. You assumed your quiet faith went unnoticed. But heaven records faithfulness differently than the world does. Every time you chose integrity over convenience, heaven took note. Every time you remained kind in environments that did not honor you, heaven recorded it. God is restoring your expectation. Expectation is not wishful thinking, it is faith with posture. You are learning how to expect without striving, how to hope without clinging. The balance is rare, and it is powerful. It creates space for God to move freely. Archangel Michael urges you to remain grounded in gratitude as things begin to shift. Gratitude keeps your heart open and your spirit humble. It protects you from fear when unfamiliar blessings arrive. You do not have to understand everything at once. Understanding will come as you walk forward. This breakthrough is also connected to reconciliation within yourself. There were parts of you that felt divided, torn between who you were and who you sensed you were becoming. God is bringing those pieces into harmony. You no longer have to choose between strength and sensitivity. Both can exist together. You may notice that your prayers are changing. You are asking differently now. Less out of urgency, more out of trust. That shift signals growth. Archangel Michael smiles upon prayers that come from confidence rather than desperation. Heaven responds swiftly to faith that rests. There is a release of clarity happening around your purpose. It may not arrive as a loud revelation, but as a steady knowing. You will simply know what to do next. And when you act, doors will open without resistance. That ease is not coincidence. It is alignment. God is also teaching you how to receive without guilt. You have been a giver for so long that receiving felt uncomfortable. But this season requires balance. You cannot pour endlessly without being filled. Tonight, heaven gives you permission to receive fully, without apology. As the night continues, trust that what has been set in motion does not depend on constant effort from you. Rest is part of obedience now. Peace is part of faith. Archangel Michael assures you that vigilance does not mean anxiety. It means awareness rooted in trust. You are stepping into a chapter where joy will return in simple ways. Laughter will feel lighter. Hope will feel safer. The weight you carried quietly is being lifted piece by piece. God has not forgotten how long you waited. He is honoring it with care. Remain present. Remain open. The movement of heaven is gentle but unstoppable. What is unfolding now will soon become visible, and when it does, you will recognize it as the answer that was worth waiting for. Beloved child, as this night continues its sacred work, God is turning your attention toward something you once avoided looking at too closely: your authority. For a long time, you have carried power quietly, unsure when or how to use it. You sensed it was there, but you hesitated, fearing responsibility more than failure. Archangel Michael now speaks clearly. Your hesitation season is ending. What God has placed within you is meant to be activated, not hidden. This breakthrough is not arriving to make your life easier. It is arriving to make your life effective. These may come, but impact is the priority. God trusts you now with influence, whether you realize it yet or not. Influence does not always look like a crowd or a platform. Sometimes it looks like one decision that shifts an entire bloodline. Sometimes it looks like one moment of obedience that changes the course of many lives. You have been tested in silence to see how you handle power without recognition. You passed the test more times than you know. That is why heaven is moving differently with you now. Archangel Michael affirms that your restraint was noted. Your patience was recorded. You did not force doors open. You waited for God's hand, even when waiting hurt. There were moments you wanted to speak up, but stayed quiet. Moments you wanted to leave but stayed faithful. Moments you wanted to give up but chose to pray instead. Those moments built spiritual muscle, and muscle is needed for what comes next. This breakthrough will require you to stand firm when others waver, to remain calm when others panic, and to stay obedient when others compromise. God is also correcting how you see leadership. Leadership is not dominance. It is responsibility. It is not control. It is service. You are being invited into a role where your integrity will matter more than your words. Archangel Michael is preparing you to lead by presence, not pressure. This night is also revealing who can walk with you into the next season and who cannot. Some relationships will deepen naturally. Others will grow distant without explanation. Do not chase what is fading. God is pruning with precision, not cruelty. What remains will be healthier, stronger, and aligned with where you are going. Pay attention to your inner responses in the coming days. Peace will guide you more accurately than excitement. If something excites you but robs your peace, pause. If something challenges you but brings peace, proceed. Heaven often disguises direction as calm resolve rather than emotional highs. Archangel Michael reminds you that spiritual growth does not eliminate opposition. It clarifies it. You will recognize resistance faster now, and you will know when not to engage. Not every battle requires your involvement. Some battles dissolve when you refuse to participate. Wisdom is choosing when to stand and when to walk away. God is also restoring your confidence in hearing Him. You doubted yourself for too long, replaying decisions and second-guessing impressions. That cycle ends here. The more you trust the clarity you are given, the clearer it will become. Confidence grows through obedience, not perfection. As this message reaches you, understand that you are not alone in this moment. There is a community forming around this flow of truth, people who are waking up, lining, and stepping forward together. If this word has strengthened you, stirred you, or clarified something within you, let your agreement be visible. Like this message as a sign of alignment. Share it with someone who needs reassurance that their waiting is not wasted. Leave a comment declaring that you are ready to walk in what God is releasing. Staying connected matters in seasons like this. Subscribe so you remain under this covering of timely insight. If you feel called to go deeper, joining the membership keeps you anchored as heaven continues to unfold its plans step by step. You are not meant to navigate this alone. Archangel Michael is watching how you steward what you receive. Revelation is a gift, but action is the response heaven looks for. Do not let this word remain inspiration only. Let it become movement, even if that movement begins internally. There is still more unfolding, and what comes next will bring a level of clarity that ties everything together. The waiting, the pruning, the silence, and the sudden shifts. Hold on, because this next unfolding will answer questions you have carried longer than you realize. My beloved one, as this night continues to breathe purpose into your life, God is inviting you to see your journey through a new lens. What once felt fragmented is now coming into order. Pieces that seemed unrelated are aligning into a clear pattern. Archangel Michael reveals that heaven has been weaving meaning into moments you thought were merely random experiences. Nothing was accidental. Every encounter, every delay, every redirection carried instruction. There were seasons when you felt misunderstood, even by those closest to you. You questioned whether you were communicating poorly or expecting too much. In truth, you were evolving faster than your environment could recognize. Growth often creates temporary isolation, not because you are wrong, but because you are changing. Tonight, God is easing that tension by repositioning you among those who can perceive what He has placed within you. This breakthrough is also redefining how you understand success. Success is no longer about proving anything. It is about fulfilling assignment. You are stepping away from comparison and into completion. Archangel Michael emphasizes that heaven measures success by obedience, not applause. What you are about to step into will satisfy your spirit in ways recognition never could. You may notice a heightened sensitivity to truth right now. Conversations that once felt normal may now feel heavy or misaligned. This is discernment refining itself. God is tuning your spirit to recognize what nourishes you and what drains you. You no longer need to justify stepping back from spaces that dim your clarity. Protection sometimes looks like distance. There is also a healing taking place around disappointment. Not all disappointment came from failure. Some came from expectation placed on people who were never meant to carry it. God is gently lifting misplaced expectations from your heart. Archangel Michael assures you that disappointment loses its sting when expectation is properly aligned. This night is teaching you how to walk in trust without needing constant reassurance. You are learning how to move forward even when the path unfolds one step at a time. Faith is not seeing the entire road. It is trusting the one who directs your steps. That trust is now becoming instinctive rather than forced. God is also restoring joy that was postponed. You delayed joy while waiting for answers, solutions, and closure. Tonight, heaven reminds you that joy is not a reward for completion. It is strength for the journey. You are allowed to smile again, to laugh again, to dream without fear of disappointment. That permission is part of your healing. Archangel Michael speaks of a renewed sense of purpose rising within you. Purpose does not always announce itself loudly. Sometimes it feels like a quiet pull toward what feels meaningful. Pay attention to what draws your heart without pressure. Attraction is guidance. God often leads through desire aligned with truth. You are also being released from the burden of over-responsibility. You carried things that were never assigned to you, out of loyalty, compassion, or fear of letting others down. God is reclaiming His role as the sustainer. You are not meant to hold everything together. Trusting Him means releasing what was never yours to manage. This breakthrough is bringing emotional clarity. Emotions will no longer control your decisions. They will inform them. You are learning how to feel deeply without being driven by feeling. A balance brings peace. Archangel Michael affirms that emotional maturity is one of the greatest forms of strength. You may feel prompted to simplify your life in certain areas. Simplification is not loss. It is focus. God is clearing space so that what matters most can flourish. When unnecessary noise fades, divine direction becomes unmistakable. This night also marks the end of striving. You have tried hard enough. You have proven enough. And now, God invites you to flow. Flow does not mean passivity. It means cooperation. You move with heaven instead of against yourself. That shift alone will change how quickly things come together. Remain attentive to your inner witness. That gentle assurance is your compass. If you feel peace, proceed. If peace withdraws, pause. Heaven is guiding you in real time now. You are not guessing anymore. You are responding. As this night deepens, trust that what is being established is stable, lasting, and intentional. You are not stepping into uncertainty. You are stepping into alignment. What comes next will build upon this foundation, revealing how everything you endured prepared you for what is about to manifest. Stay open. Stay anchored. The unfolding is far from over. My chosen one. As this night reaches a deeper spiritual intensity, heaven is speaking with unusual clarity. There is a sacred stillness around you right now, not empty, but full. Full of intention. full of direction, full of answers that are beginning to surface gently, one by one. Archangel Michael stands close because this phase of your breakthrough requires precision. What God is doing now is delicate, powerful, and irreversible. You are entering a stage where clarity replaces confusion. Not all at once, but steadily. The fog that once surrounded your decisions is lifting. You are beginning to see why certain prayers were delayed and why some doors had to remain closed longer than you expected. God was protecting the outcome, not withholding the blessing. Timing was guarding purpose. There were moments you almost settled. You almost accepted less than what God promised, simply because you were tired of waiting. Heaven saw that moment, and heaven intervened. Archangel Michael confirms that divine interruption saved you from an outcome that would have limited your future. What felt like another delay was actually rescue in disguise. This breakthrough is also about restoration of trust. Not just trust in God, but trust in yourself. You doubted your discernment because you were surrounded by too many voices. Tonight, God is quieting the noise. You are learning to recognize His voice again, not as distant thunder, but as steady truth within you. Something important is shifting in how you approach the future. Fear is no longer leading the conversation. Wisdom is. You are no longer asking, what if it fails? You are asking, what if this is God? That shift alone changes outcomes. Archangel Michael assures you that heaven responds to faith that is thoughtful, not reckless. You may notice that old temptations to go backward are losing their appeal. What once felt familiar now feels heavy. That is growth speaking. You are no longer who you were when those doors first opened. God has expanded your capacity, and old spaces can no longer contain you. This night is also activating courage in a new way. Not loud courage, but quiet resolve. The kind that does not announce itself, but moves forward anyway. You are becoming decisive without being harsh, confident without being arrogant. That balance is rare, and it is necessary for what God is entrusting to you next. Archangel Michael reveals that some of the answers you have been asking God for will come through action, not waiting. Movement will unlock revelation. As you take one obedient step, the next will become clear. Do not demand the entire map. Heaven reveals direction step by step to keep you close. There is also a deep healing happening around disappointment with God. You never stopped believing, but you stopped expecting. A distance is closing tonight. God is reminding you that His faithfulness was never in question, even when outcomes confused you. Trust is being rebuilt, stronger than before. As this truth settles into your spirit, heaven is releasing a marker over this moment. Type "I step into alignment" in the comments if you receive this word. Blessing code 888 has just been released and activated over your life. And now, hear this with spiritual clarity and an open heart. This message is not only shaping you, it is meant to reach others who are standing on the edge of giving up. And I speak directly to you now, the one who feels the weight of this calling. I am inviting you, personally, to partner with this divine assignment. When you sow through Super Thanks, membership, or the PayPal link in the description, you are planting seed into fertile ground that produces light for weary souls. The Lord says, as you release from your hand, I will release oil upon your household. This is not charity, this is covenant action. Do not hesitate when heaven nudges you. I bless every giver with multiplied provision, spiritual authority, and open doors that no man can shut. Act now, support this mission, and let your obedience unlock harvest beyond measure. The night is not over yet. What God is revealing next will connect everything you have heard so far and prepare you for the final unfolding. Stay attentive. Heaven is still speaking, and what is coming carries weight you were finally prepared to hold. Beloved one, as this night moves closer to its appointed purpose, God is drawing your attention inward, to a place where truth has been forming quietly. There is a settling happening in your spirit right now, like dust finally falling after a long storm. This is not exhaustion. This is resolution. Archangel Michael stands witness as heaven seals what has been spoken and begins to anchor it within you. You are starting to realize that the greatest battles you fought were not external. They were internal negotiations between fear and faith, between familiarity and obedience. You wrestled with uncertainty not because you were weak, but because you cared deeply about choosing correctly. God honors that. He does not rush sincere hearts, so He guides them. This breakthrough is revealing something important about your identity. You are not merely someone who survives difficult seasons. You are someone who transforms because of them. The pressure did not break you. It clarified you. The waiting did not empty you. It refined you. Archangel Michael affirms that heaven now recognizes you as steady ground, not shifting sand. There were moments when you questioned whether your quiet obedience mattered. You did not see immediate results, so you wondered if your choices were making a difference. Tonight, God answers that doubt. Every unseen act of faith created spiritual infrastructure. Roads were built before you ever walked on them. Support was positioned before you ever needed it. You are also being released from the need to relive old explanations. You no longer have to rehearse what went wrong or justify why something ended. The chapter has closed, not in bitterness, but in understanding. Closure does not always come with answers. Sometimes it comes with peace. And peace has found you here. Archangel Michael is emphasizing the importance of stillness in the coming days. Not inactivity, but intentional quiet. There are insights that can only surface when noise is removed. God is not withholding information. He is inviting you to listen more deeply. Stillness will sharpen your awareness and strengthen your resolve. This night is also reshaping how you relate to time. You once felt behind, as if life was moving faster than you could keep up with. Now, you are realizing that you were never late. You were being synchronized. Timing is not about speed, it is about alignment. And alignment has finally been established. There is a growing confidence within you that does not need to announce itself. You are no longer trying to convince yourself or others that you are capable. You simply know. That knowing is powerful. It removes hesitation from your steps and clarity from your decisions. Archangel Michael confirms that this confidence is rooted in truth, not ego. You may notice that your prayers are becoming simpler. Less explaining, more trusting. Less striving, more surrender. That shift marks spiritual maturity. God delights in prayers that rest, because they reflect faith that understands relationship, not transaction. This breakthrough is also teaching you how to release control without losing direction. You are learning to hold plans loosely while staying committed to purpose. That flexibility allows God to adjust details without disrupting your peace. Control once felt like safety, now trust feels stronger. Pay attention to the people who remain close to you in this season. They are not there by accident. God has curated your environment carefully. Depth is replacing noise. Archangel Michael assures you that what remains will nourish you, not drain you. There is also a renewed sense of hope awakening in you. Not naive hope, but grounded expectation. You are beginning to believe again, not because circumstances changed yet, but because you did. Hope rooted in identity cannot be shaken by delay. This night continues to work like a seal, closing doors that no longer need to be revisited. You are not meant to keep checking behind you. What is ahead requires forward focus. God is freeing your vision from the pull of the past so you can see what is forming now. As this part of the unfolding settles, trust that you are exactly where you need to be. Nothing hath been missed. Nothing hath been lost. What remains will make sense in the lot of what is coming next. The final movements are approaching, and they will bring a completion that feels both surprising and deeply familiar. Stay present. Stay anchored. Heaven is preparing to speak one more layer of truth that will bring everything into full alignment. My beloved child, as this sacred night moves toward its final assignments, God is now speaking about consistency and focus. What has been revealed to you so far is not meant to fade when emotions settle or when routine returns. This breakthrough requires stewardship. Archangel Michael is emphasizing that what God releases must be protected by awareness, discipline, and intentional living. You are stepping into a phase where small decisions will carry great weight. Not because you are under pressure, but because you are aligned. Alignment sharpens consequences. When you are aligned, obedience accelerates results, and distraction slows them. Heaven is inviting you to live more consciously, not more cautiously. There is a difference. Conscious living is guided by purpose, not fear. God is also teaching you how to recognize divine momentum. Momentum feels like grace meeting effort. Doors open with less resistance. Conversations bring clarity instead of confusion. Opportunities feel peaceful instead of draining. When you sense that flow, move with it. Do not overanalyze what heaven has already approved. Archangel Michael assures you that hesitation now would only delay what is ready to manifest. This night has been chosen not just to awaken you, but to anchor you. Anchors prevent drift. In the coming days, life will try to pull your attention in many directions. Some of those distractions will look harmless, even productive. But if they pull you away from what God is emphasizing, they are not aligned. You will need discernment more than enthusiasm. You are also being reminded that spiritual growth is not solitary. God often confirms His word through community, repetition, and shared revelation. That is why remaining connected matters in this season. Isolation weakens momentum. Alignment strengthens it. Archangel Michael watches over those who choose to stay under covering instead of walking alone. If this message has been building faith, clarity, or courage within you, let that alignment be visible. Like this message as a sign of agreement with what heaven is doing. Share it with someone who may be standing at the edge of discouragement, needing reassurance that God has not forgotten them. Leave a comment declaring that you are walking forward in obedience and expectation. Staying connected to this flow is not accidental. Subscribe so you remain positioned to receive what God continues to release. There are words ahead that will meet you in moments you cannot predict yet. If you desire consistent spiritual nourishment and deeper insight, joining the membership allows you to walk closely with this assignment without interruption. And now hear this carefully. This is not about supporting content. It is about protecting continuity. God often uses consistency as a channel for breakthrough. When you show up repeatedly, heaven responds with clarity and confirmation. Do not underestimate the power of staying engaged when things begin to shift. Archangel Michael also wants you to understand that not every season requires intense action. Some seasons require observation. Watch what drains you and what strengthens you. Watch what brings peace and what brings confusion. Heaven is teaching you how to self-correct quickly, without guilt or self-judgment. You may feel an urge to rush ahead, to make everything happen quickly now that clarity has arrived. Resist that urge. Acceleration comes from alignment, not speed. God sets the pace to protect the promise. Trust the rhythm he establishes. There is a deeper revelation still unfolding, one that ties together your past, your present, and what is about to manifest. This next layer will answer a question you have not even fully articulated yet. It will explain why certain things had to unfold exactly as they did. Before you let your attention wander, stay here in this moment. What comes next will not only complete what hath been spoken so far, it will reveal how close you are to visible manifestation. This is one of those moments where clarity deepens suddenly, and you will be glad you stayed present for it. Heaven is still moving. Archangel Michael is still standing watch. And what God is about to reveal will shift how you see everything that lies ahead. Beloved one, as this night approaches its final stretch, God is speaking now about fulfillment and completion. Not the kind that rushes to an ending, but the kind that settles deeply and feels right in your spirit. There is a sense of arrival beginning to form within you, even if nothing outward has changed yet. That feeling is not imagination. It is recognition. Your spirit recognizes that something long-awaited is finally within reach. Archangel Michael stands close in this hour because what God is doing now is sealing, not starting. Many things began long ago. Seeds were planted in seasons you barely remember. Some were planted through pain, others through obedience, others through prayers you whispered when your faith felt thin. Tonight, heaven confirms that those seeds are breaking ground. You are no longer in preparation alone. You are in transition. God wants you to understand that completion does not always look dramatic. Sometimes it looks like peace where anxiety used to live. Sometimes it looks like clarity where confusion once ruled. Sometimes it looks like confidence replacing hesitation. These are not small signs. They are evidence that the internal work is complete enough for the external work to begin. You are also being freed from the weight of unfinished questions. Not every question will be answered in the way your mind desires, but your spirit will no longer feel unsettled by them. There is a knowing replacing the need to analyze. Archangel Michael affirms that wisdom is now operating within you more naturally than before. You are not forcing insight. It is flowing. This breakthrough is teaching you how to recognize divine completion without rushing to the next desire. In the past, you moved quickly from one prayer to another, one need to the next. Tonight, God invites you to pause and acknowledge what has already been accomplished within you. Gratitude for internal victories creates space for external ones. There is also a restoration of trust happening at a deeper level. Not just trust that God can do something, but trust that He has already been guiding you correctly. You no longer need to replay past decisions with regret. Even the choices that led to pain carried instruction. Even the wrong turns taught discernment. Nothing was wasted. Archangel Michael is highlighting the importance of rest after revelation. Revelation stretches the spirit. Rest allows it to settle. In the coming days you may feel drawn to quiet moments, reflection, or solitude. Do not resist that pull. God often completes His work in stillness after speaking in clarity. This night is also bringing emotional closure. Not the kind that erases memory, but the kind that removes emotional charge. You can think about the past without reliving it. You can remember without reopening wounds. That is healing. And healing is one of the clearest signs that a season has ended. You are being repositioned for consistency, not intensity. Intensity brought you through crisis. Consistency will sustain you in peace. God is not asking you to live on constant spiritual highs. He is inviting you into steady communion. Archangel Michael assures you that steady faith outlasts dramatic faith every time. There is also a quiet confidence growing in how you approach the future. You are no longer desperate to know every detail. You trust that direction will meet you as you move. The trust is powerful. It allows heaven to surprise you with goodness instead of you trying to control outcomes. This breakthrough is aligning your expectations with God's character. You are no longer expecting disappointment as a default. You are learning to expect faithfulness. That shift alone changes how you interpret delays, silence, and redirection. You no longer see them as rejection. You see them as guidance. Pay attention to the subtle joy returning to you. Joy without reason. Joy without explanation. That joy is not circumstantial, it is spiritual. It is the result of burdens lifting and alignment settling. Archangel Michael confirms that joy is one of heaven's confirmations that you are on the right path. You are also stepping into a phase where obedience will feel less like sacrifice and more like agreement. You are no longer fighting God's will, you are flowing with it. That harmony brings peace you cannot manufacture. It is given. As this night continues to close, trust that what God has spoken will not fall to the ground. Completion is not the end of the story. It is the foundation for what comes next. And what comes next will build upon everything you have endured, learned, and surrendered. Remain still for a moment. Let this truth settle. The final word that is about to be released will not just bless you, it will mark you. Heaven has one more thing to declare before this night passes, and it will seal everything that has been unfolding. Stay present. This final movement carries great weight. My beloved child, this is the moment heaven has been guiding you toward all night. As the final movement of this sacred hour unfolds, God is not introducing something new. He is confirming what has already been decided. This night was chosen because your spirit was finally aligned with heaven's timing. What you sensed earlier was not anticipation alone. It was recognition. Your spirit recognized destiny approaching. Archangel Michael stands now, not in warning but in witness. The pleading has shifted into protection. What God is releasing over you cannot be intercepted, delayed, or reversed. This is not a fragile breakthrough. It is sealed. Heaven has watched your endurance, your restraint, your obedience in hidden places. And now, the weight of reward is being transferred. God says this breakthrough is not loud because it is lasting. Loud things fade. Deep things remain. What is entering your life will not require constant defense. It will stand on its own because it was built in truth. You will not have to explain it, justify it, or chase it. It will align with you naturally. This night closes a spiritual chapter that began long before you realized it. A chapter marked by patience, inner battles, silent prayers, and unseen faithfulness. You did not quit when it would have been easier. You did not compromise when shortcuts were offered. Heaven has recorded that. Archangel Michael confirms that the authority restored to you now will be evident in how you move forward. You will notice that decisions come with less inner conflict. Fear will no longer argue as loudly. Doubt will no longer dominate your thoughts. Peace will become your compass. God is also releasing final clarity regarding why certain people could not follow you into this next season. It was never about rejection. It was about capacity. Not everyone could grow at the pace your calling required. You were not meant to shrink to keep others comfortable. You were meant to expand and trust God with the separation. This breakthrough will touch every layer of your life, not all at once but intentionally. What unfolds next will feel ordered, not chaotic. You will sense that things are finally making sense. The sense of wholeness you have been longing for is no longer distant. It is settling in now. As this night ends, God asks only one thing of you. Do not doubt tomorrow what He confirmed tonight. When routine returns, when distractions come back, remember this moment. Remember the clarity. Remember the peace. Remember the certainty. Heaven does not change its mind because emotions fluctuate. Archangel Michael declares that you are now walking under divine timing, not delayed timing. What moves next will move with precision. Be attentive. Be responsive. But do not be anxious. What God has sealed will arrive at the appointed moment. Before this final seal is placed, heaven releases a marker over this word. Type "IT is sealed" in the comments if you receive this message with faith. Blessing code 1212 is now activated over your life. And now, hear this final invitation clearly and without hesitation. I am speaking to you, the one whose spirit has stayed attentive from beginning to end. This message did not reach you by accident, and neither is what I am about to say. When you support this mission through Super Thanks membership, with a PayPal link in the description, you are not giving to a channel. You are responding to a divine assignment. The Lord says, as you place seed into my work, I will place fire upon your path. This is a prophetic action, not a casual gesture. Heaven watches moments like these. I speak blessing over every giver. May doors open suddenly. May provision multiply swiftly. And may your obedience return to you pressed down and overflowing. Do not delay. Act now. Support this work and let your obedience echo in eternity. This night has spoken. Heaven has moved. And what God has sealed over you will not pass you by.